Hello, welcome to the Cold Hard Facts on Sex Habits. I'm Jenny Kay, and today we are having our fifth part of the Golden Hand Syndrome series. And this is the last part. We are doing habit number 4. And just to refresh your mind, Golden Hand Syndrome is the inability or the difficulty to release with anyone other than yourself. And the fourth habit today that we're going to be working with is one that a lot of people don't want to discuss. They have a lot of reasons why they don't want to talk about it, but it is one of the key ways that you can acquire Golden Hand Syndrome. And that habit that you need to let go is pornography. Everyone has heard that pornography is a killer of relationships, but nobody really has explained why, and we're going to touch on that today. I will have an entire series on pornography, but today we're just going to talk about it in relation to being the fourth habit that you need to let go of or outgrow in order to be the best that you can be. Many of you have tried to cut back on porn, and instead of watching it several times a week, you end up watching it just once or twice. But it ends up being a situation where you think you're going to give it up, and then you're back to square one, and then you're watching Pornhub or some other porn site. And it really goes along with the second habit that we were talking about. And the second habit is that no more than 25% of your releases can be done by yourself. So that means for every one time you release, someone else takes care of it 3 times. Well, with a porn addiction, you end up having a situation where it is real easy to get in front of the screen. It's real easy, whether it be your phone or your laptop or a computer somewhere, it's real easy to get in front of the screen, and before you know it, you're thinking, I shouldn't have done that. Now when I go home, I'm not going to be interested, no matter who it is that is waiting for me at home. They're not going to be able to measure up to all the images that I just had blasted at me from the internet. And anyone that you're with is going to seem like pure vanilla or unexciting after pornography. And it really decreases your own satisfaction with your body and triggers anxiety after watching it. A lot of times you'll watch the porn and you'll see that man is extremely large, and you'll see him performing in a way in this perfect scenario where everything is perfect. The bedroom scene or whatever the background is, it's all perfect. No one struggles to get their clothes off. No one has any negative comments. No one has any disruptions, and it's all the perfect scenario. And you're looking at this and comparing yourself, of course, and a certain amount of anxiety comes in. And then men kind of think, well, gee, maybe I should be bigger, or maybe I should this, and maybe I should that. And the anxiety sets in, and they're thinking that their performance and their body isn't what it needs to be, and then that triggers even more thoughts that aren't healthy. Porn scenes, like addictive substances, are hyperstimulating triggers that lead to unnaturally high levels of dopamine in the body. Science is only starting to reveal the neurological repercussions of porn and how it leads to depression and ED being erectile dysfunction. They're just now starting to see that there is a correlation, and it is damaging. When your body requires food or sex, the brain remembers where to return for that experience that it enjoyed. That's just the way the brain works. And if you're enjoying pornography on a regular basis, the brain will continue to fool you into believing that that's where you need to go for that similar pleasure, for that same experience. Instead of you going to your partner, or instead of you having interaction with someone else, it's going to go directly back to the pornography. And if the pornography is something that you're doing on a regular basis, then, and when I say regular basis, you know, it's back to the 25-75 rule. If more than 25% of your releases are being done by you and in the world of pornography, that's what your body's going to crave. That's what your mind's going to tell you that you need. And that's what's going to promote you to continue to go back to the pornography instead of working things out with your partner. The unnaturally strong explosions of reward and pleasure bring unnaturally high amounts of dopamine into your system, and what happens is it damages your reward system, and it leaves you unresponsive to having natural forms of pleasure, like just touch with your partner, just doing the natural things that you used to do before you got into the pornography. And the high levels of dopamine and that, like I said, the explosion of pleasure, they go hand in hand. And your body begins to crave more and more and more, and the habit becomes heavier, deeper, more frequent. And I really believe the only way to let that go is not cut it down to once a week, or cut it down to twice a week, or cut it down to 3 times a week. To me, that's like giving an alcoholic a drink once a week and expecting him not to go back for the other 6 days. If you let him drink 1 day a week and then 6 days he doesn't drink, then naturally he lives for the 1 day a week and then he falls off the wagon, as they say. But I think the best way to get rid of or to let go of the pornography habit is to go cold turkey. If you don't go cold turkey and just totally cut it out, it's going to bring about a situation where no woman or no partner is ever going to be able to satisfy you as long as you're watching the porn and getting all the images blasted at you, different images, exciting images, and the dopamine is rushing through your body. And something you may want to think about as well is that the Max Planck Institute in Berlin has studied pornography and the effects to the brain and what it does, and they have come up with the fact that the higher use of pornography, someone that watches pornography more on a regular basis, ends up kind of slowing down the brain's desire for conventional pornography. The more they watch, then they kind of build up a tolerance, some would say. And what it does is they end up graduating to extreme, unconventional porn to be satisfied, and that type of porn usually is in forms of violence and incest. And the Max Planck Institute's findings aren't that surprising. Pornhub is a site that has, well, in 2019, they had 42 billion people. Well, actually, I should say in 2019, there were 42 billion site visits. There were 42 billion site visits in 2019 to the Pornhub site. Now, there are a lot of other sites, but Pornhub is the largest. And their analytics reveal that the conventional sex interest is waning for those that see a lot of the porn. The people that view porn on a regular basis, they end up not being quite as interested in the conventional porn, and they start turning toward the incest and violent porn as well. So that study correlates with what the Max Planck Institute in Berlin also is stating. That's scary. To me, that's scary. But the interesting thing is the irony of porn is that it promises to satisfy and it promises to provide sexual gratification, but it produces just the opposite. So as you can see, it will take a concerted effort on your part to let go of or give up the porn. And like I said earlier, I suggest cold turkey. And once you give it up and take your power back, you will start noticing that the desensitization that you've experienced, and you will experience that if more than 25% of your releases are done by you. You definitely will experience that. That will start to come back. And you will be much happier and much more fulfilled once you have control over your body and how it functions. I want to thank you for hanging in there with me today. Thank you for joining me. And you definitely don't want to miss my next video series. Just like men get golden hand syndrome, women get golden vibrator syndrome. Have you ever been with a lady and you were giving her pleasure and she hardly moved, and then the next time you were giving a lady pleasure, she squirmed all over the bed with excitement and joy? Well, there's a reason that the one that didn't move. And you will learn a lot. I know that this series coming up, Golden Vibrator Syndrome, is for women, but it's also for men to understand their women and learn what women do behind closed doors. They do a lot more than you think. And this next series is going to be very interesting and very educational. I know you're going to enjoy it. And if there's anything about today's video that kind of struck a nerve anywhere in you, I would like you to share it. Share it with someone you care about. We're all in this together. Let's help each other, and share the video with someone that could use a little guidance or could use a little help or a little knowledge. God will bless you tenfold down the road. Now, you won't want to miss the next series on Golden Vibrator Syndrome, so please hit the subscribe button, and that way you know you won't miss it. And share this with anyone that you care about, that you know would enjoy it. And I will look forward to seeing you next time. Have a blessed day. Thank you. Bye-bye.